lacks to any great extent any sort of permanent progressive political agenda and political coalition. Now we have one, fortunately. So the ban passed, it was signed, we formed a coalition, and were able to collect the signatures and put the ban on the ballot, defeated it. The right wing came back this year, collected their own signatures, and put a ban on the ballot that contained exceptions this time. In 2006, there were no exceptions.
Rape, incest, health
Rape,
of the mother.
incest, health of woman, correct. And we actually started 28 points behind this time.
So how'd you organize?
Well, it was very grassroots, door-to-door, classic political grassroots organizing in coalition with others. So not just Planned Parenthood, but very broad coalition that contained a lot of different kinds of people.
So you had a lot of anti-choice people who voted against the abortion ban.
Yeah, it's really important.
Why?
Because I think that the strategy of the anti-choicers has been to convince legislators that this is what the people want. They scare politicians into thinking that they will lose their office if they don't do what the common myth says that they should do, especially in places like South Dakota, and that's ban abortion. So when we have an opportunity to take the discussion directly to the people, as we do in the case of a ballot initiative, we can demonstrate that, in fact, that this isn't what people want.
How interesting that a red state, California, defeats gay marriage for the moment, right, in a ballot initiative. Rather, in California, a blue state.
Right.
A red state, South Dakota, which is also fiercely anti-choice, defeats an abortion ban.
Yes, exactly. But, you know, again, we have been organizing in a very direct voter-to-voter, neighbor-to-neighbor, family-to-family way in South Dakota now for several years. And this ballot initiative and the abortion ban in 2006 gave us the opportunity to do this, and it was a gift, in fact. Very
quickly, Minnesota, that's where you're based. Big race right now, still unresolved, very anti-choice Senator Norm Coleman, slightly few votes ahead of Al Franken.
That's right, 200 votes ahead at this point.
So there's going to be a recount.
There will be a recount, a very laborious recount of 3 million votes by hand.
Any comments?
By county. Well, you know, first of all, we don't have any hanging chads in Minnesota. That's a really good thing. We have optical scanners, so we actually will be able to have a fair recount. It will be very, very expensive, and again, it's an opportunity for the left to get very, very mobilized and focused, and so the campaign continues.
Well, I want to thank you, Sarah Stoesz, for being with us, President and CEO of Planned Parenthood, Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, and thanks so much to Kristina Wilfore, who joined us from Washington, Executive Director of the Ballot Initiative Strategy Center. When we come back, we'll talk about a first in this country, a woman majority in a state legislative body, the New Hampshire State Senate. It's never happened before. Stay with us.
Now, every time you think about same-sex marriage, do you get sick to your guts? I mean, two people who want to commit to a stable, monogamous, lifelong relationship. What are they, nuts? It's unnatural. Oh, a man must never lie with a person who is a guy. He should only lie to his wife. The Bible is clear. We're defenders of marriage in 3-button suits. We'll raise our double standard and see who salutes. Defenders of marriage, defending the institution from people who want to get married. Every time we think about same-sex parents, oh my gosh, we exclaim. I mean, two people who want to provide a protective and nurturing family environment, have they no shame? It's so deviant. It's the Lord's holy word, as my second wife said to my third, that a family's based on obligation and fear. We're defenders of marriage, connubial narcs, ever vigilant, patriotic patriarchs, defenders of marriage, defending the institution from people who want to get married.
Feeney singing Defenders of Marriage here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Yes, history was made in New Hampshire Tuesday as New Hampshire State Senate became the first state legislative body in U.S. history with a female majority. 13 of the state's 24 senators are now women. Nationally, less than 1 in 4 legislators is female. New Hampshire's also has a female U.S. senator for the first time in history after Democrat Jean Shaheen defeated the incumbent Republican John Sununu. I'm joined by Nancy Mosher. She is president of the Planned Parenthood of Northern New England Action Fund. How did you do it?
Well, I'd love to take all the credit, but we worked really hard, layering our political action with local and federal races in collaboration with our national PAC, as well as the America Votes organization in New Hampshire. I can't tell you how helpful they were in helping us slice and dice the databases. And what we did was we targeted women under 55 who were center or right of center, because we had research this year that showed that Planned Parenthood's name is highly trusted by women in our country, and they really took us seriously when we told them about the positions of the candidates. So we were able to go out and expose McCain's extraordinary, terrible record on women's health, 0% rating with Planned Parenthood, as well as highlight the Senate race, the House races, where there were 2 pro-choice incumbents that we were working to reinstate, and the local Senate races. So 3 out of 4 of the targeted Senate races that we worked on were won, and they were all women.
And the state Senate, was it clear? Did people in New Hampshire realize they could possibly make history with a woman majority?
You know, I'm not really sure they did. I think there were some pundits who certainly were aware of it. But what we found when we were knocking on doors was that people really were unaware of the Senate candidates. So if we could sort of grab their attention talking about McCain's record, then we could say, and by the way, you know, here's what we have to tell you about your local Senate candidate and where they stand on women's health. So it was very, you know, grassroots from the ground up.
Well, talking about women taking power, Gretchen Peters is also with us. She is a singer-songwriter. She wrote the song Independence Day, which became a hit for country singer Martina McBride. We played that, her version of it, in the first segment. Well, Gretchen made headlines recently when she protested the use of the song by Republican vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin. Explain what happened, Gretchen. The night of the vice presidential debate?
Yeah, the night of the vice presidential debate, I got a phone call after it was over, and it was actually my booking agent. She said, "Did you hear?" And I hadn't heard, whatever, you know. She said, "They used your song to bring Sarah Palin on stage." And it's not the first time, you know, the song has been sort of taken out of context and misused.
This was in the post-party of the debate?
The post-party, right. But I think the thing that was different about it for me this time was that she really represented, this is a song about domestic abuse. I mean, she represented the opposite of what this song